had to lose our space, we've lost dancing. We've lost hugs with friends and people that we loved, all these things that we took for granted. We've lost dancing. We've lost dancing. If I can live through, we've lost dancing, this next 6 months, we've lost dancing, day by day, we've lost dancing. If I can live through this, we've lost dancing. What comes next will be marvelous. What comes next will be marvelous.
I need to find my way home. I feel so lonely and lost in here. I need to find my way home. I feel so lonely and lost in here. I need to find my way home. I feel so lonely and lost in here. I need to find my way, my way, my way, my way, my way. Lost in here.
They look down on me, I'm a product of the street side. Lockdown got me on a decline. We've gotta find another way. Music is my freedom, so I let the rhythm play. Can't see on the roads, blinded by the street lights. Link my brother for a free five. Light up a thing and get high, cause to get by we have to take time. No, 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 they look down on me, I'm a product of the street side. Back my family through peak times. Now I wanna make a change. Music is my freedom and I'm out here to get paid. Can't see on the roads, blinded by the street lights. So much pain up in these eyes. Light up a thing and get high, cause to get by we have to take time.
I'm a product of the street side. Been through some peak times. Bench on the incline, mind on a decline. Train on a beast vibe, eat and I sleep right. Always been streetwise since I was knee high. Now I'm on an older, heart feeling colder. Bars in a folder, top of the poster. Must be a soldier. Streets that my heart, it's not motor. It's just a start, it's not over. This is just a start now. Man, I'm moving smart now. Boy from a small town, hitting up the charts now. You can hear the pain that I carry in my heart now. You man are small-minded, man are thinking large now. Brucey from LE, vibes them are plenty. West Indies, used to kick back on Westy. Lord, can you bless me? Grandad, protect me. Pray for the kid, and I'll see you at the NG. Bah.
They look down on me, wanna put their doubt on me. You should put a crown on me. This one's for my family. Ay. They look down on me, wanna put their doubt on me. You should put a crown on me. This one's for my family. Ay. They look down on me, I'm a product of the street side. Lockdown got me on a decline. We've gotta find another way. Music is my freedom, so I let the rhythm play. Can't see on the roads, blinded by the street lights. Link my brother for a free five. Light up a thing and get high, cause to get by we have to take time. No, 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 they look down on me, I'm a product of the street side. Back my family through peak times. Now I wanna make a change. Music is my freedom, and I'm out here to get paid. Can't see on the roads, blinded by the street lights.
got a girl. How you want me? How you want me when you got a girl? The feeling is reckless of knowing it's selfish, knowing I'm desperate, getting on in and left, falling all over love. I do it till it's last. Hanging out the back, all of me you laugh. Like, is you coming home? Is you out with her? I don't care long as you here by 10:30, no later than drop them drugs, give me what I want. My man is your man, hurt is her man too. My man is your man, hurt that's her man. Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, I just keep him satisfied through the weekend. You like 9 to 5, I'm the weekend. Make her lose his mind every weekend. You take Wednesday, Thursday, and just send him my way. Think I got it covered for the weekend. I gotta say I'm in the mood for a little bit more of that. I mean, I'm saying what kind of these is 2 days. I need me at least about 4 of them, more of them, more. You
Sure.
want me on us, just tell me you want me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the last but one, the last but penultimate, I don't know how to put it, the final, but not final, Grand Prix. Today we're in Mexico, and once again, joined by Sam in the commentary box. Hello.
Hello, very eloquently put there, Callum. Welcome to Mexico. It's been a little while. It feels like I haven't been here for ages, but we're back once again. Mexico, an interesting track, very, very high altitude, very thin air. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
Well, these drivers must be quite good at this. Obviously, they're all flight owners in this league, so they'll be used to the high altitudes of today's track. Today, we've got roughly about 15 drivers on the grid. 5 people not racing today, so you can see the placeholders there in the bottom. It's a shame. And, oh my goodness, someone losing control on the exit of the pits. I think that's not too bit of fun. But regardless, yeah, it's good to be back. 15 minutes of, well, essentially practice for these drivers today.
Yeah, correct. I mean, some drivers do more practice than others, so this 15 minutes may be crucial for some of them. We'll have to see, but yeah, all these drivers guaranteed to get into Q2. They're obviously going to want to set that lap in Q1 just to make sure they do get into the next session.
Now, I'm not too fond of Mexico. I think it can be quite a stale race because there's a lot of slow speed corners, which is good because obviously overtaking, but through qualifying there isn't really much to write home about. It's just get around the track as fast as you can, and it's the really only exciting bits: turn 7, 8, 9, and up towards 10. The sector we just saw there through 2.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. It's an interesting design track. Obviously, a very, very long start-finish straight. It's all about top speed. Obviously, these guys are all in equal cars. There's going to be no real benefit from any type of engine. But yeah, as you say, turn 7, 8, and 9, that complex is really interesting. The stadium section also is very nice to look at. Obviously, not the best for overtaking or necessarily raw speed, but yeah, it's an interesting track. It's a cool place to be. Obviously, in Mexico, lots of culture. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. All of these drivers coming back after the short summer start break of, well, 3 weeks, I think it was, since the last time we've raced in Kenco. But how important is it to have just some downtime? Obviously, the Formula 1 season runs all the way through the year, and obviously these guys, unlike the real one, does do a race every week. In real life, you sometimes get 2 or 3 weeks between each race. So how important are those summer breaks and the ones that just get a little bit more downtime?
Yeah, I mean, for some drivers, it can be really crucial. It depends how they think their season has gone. Really, this downtime, only 3 laps. Sorry, only 3 races left in the season, but it can still be important. Obviously, some guys wanting to get some good points at the end of the season. Still not got a championship. Sorry, a champion yet. So that's obviously still up for grabs for a few, maybe only one driver or two, but it can be really important for some drivers.
Well, the championship title does run between Max Chapman and Torben Schutt. Torben Schutt here got into qualifying really, really late today. Just made it into the paddock. Max Chapman's firing up for his first hot lap of the session. Remember, none of these really do count, so it will just be the drivers finding the limit. But as we talk about it, is Max Chapman required to stay in the points and receive 5 points? If Max Chapman receives 5 points in the next 3 races, he is champion now. He was crowned it last week because I think by de facto it is pretty clear that he will get those 5 points, but it's Formula 1.
Yeah, we don't wish to cast any sort of commentator's curse on him either. But yeah, as you said, it's not a tall order for Max. He's obviously had an incredible season. The first season of the Kenco F1 League, it's been a very exciting one. But yeah, Max, I mean, throughout, it's just been absolutely stellar. And for him to only have to take 5 points in the last 3 races of the season, I think that's an incredible effort.
The first times are coming in. 1:14.8 is the fastest, but Max Chapman has set a purple sector 1. He's 50 seconds into his lap, just approaching the 1 minute mark, and is exiting sector 2 into the sector 3. He's also gone purple in that middle sector, 7 tenths quicker than Dylan already, so that would be a 1:14.1 if he keeps this up to the end of the lap.
He is setting a blistering time at the moment. Obviously, Dylan in P1 with a 1:14.8, but as you said, Max is up quite a lot on that lap as he approaches the line. He goes P1, obviously, with a 1:14 flat, some 7 tenths in front.
That's ridiculous. Considering that this will be, this will be the only set of softs he'll use in this session. How is he going to treat these? Because obviously, there's no need for him to push up them, is there?
No, not at all. I mean, considering everyone's safe, you just want to set a solid lap. You don't want to crash the car. We have seen that in the league previously. Some drivers, they've had these sessions where there's only been 15 drivers and they've unfortunately DNF'd, and that is a real shocker for them. They don't want that at all. So Max, yeah, he's just got to go around steadily. These soft tyres could come in handy as well if you wanted to use them in the race.
Alex Renzo coming through the final corner. We're just going to have to edit the overlay a little bit there, so just bear with me. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Alex Renzo started his lap. He's in P13 in a quite precarious position because he's behind Torben Schutt, the man who could stick it on pole, and he's in front of someone who hasn't actually set a lap. So I'm not sure why it's showing as Titan. He isn't in the league anymore. It is, in fact, Kevin Amara. I think he may have changed his number, which may explain why it says a different person.
Yeah, I think Alex hasn't set a proper representative lap time yet. It's going up as a 1:39.0, and I don't imagine he is 24 seconds off the pace. So I still think he's yet to set a lap time on these soft tyres.
Now, something I want to bring up, obviously, I know this is just the start of qualifying 1, and there are 10 minutes to go, only 5 minutes having gone in the session, but Ben Mitchell in P4, towards the end of the season, the qualifying sessions that he has put in have been absolutely superb, even rivaling it for pole in Sochi. Obviously, in the end, he did come P2, falling to the hands of Andre Muster, who, sort of bottled it in the end. He put it on pole and couldn't convert. So, what has really happened to Ben in order to be able to push for the higher positions? Because, realistically, there's no such thing as development tokens. There's none of this. It's all down to driver, its skill, and driver improvement.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely correct. Some great results towards the end of the season has Ben Mitchell had in that Mercedes. I think he's just got confidence in that car, in the game, and that's he's just been working on it the whole season, and it's finally come good for him, which is really good news. Whether we take this on to another league or whatever, that's just really good confidence for him. So. Yeah. A real good effort, and yeah, it's good to see some more people up the top end of the field.
Yeah, completely agree, especially with the likes of Dylan. Dylan's never qualified better than P3 here in the Kenco Fun League today. Put it in P2 in qualifying 1, so possibly a sign of what's to come. But Torben Schutt definitely has more in him than 17 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, certainly. I think he's maybe just taking it very calmly. You know, even though that looks like a very slow time, he would get into Q2 with that. So he's just, you know, he's being sensible. You know, he's a very sensible, calm and collected. And yeah, not taking any risk in Q1, which is very, very good of him.
Yeah, I completely agree here. Another driver who has seemed to have mysteriously changed their number is Rio Evans, I would say number 24. He shouldn't be number 24 because that's Jay's number. But yeah, number 24 for Rio. He's in P13. Last time we had a race with him, he caused an altercation in qualifying. So let's hope there's none of that from the Renault driver today.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, quite easy on certain tracks to have that in qualifying. You know, drivers back up towards the end of their lap. They want to get that gap in front of them so they're not compromised on their lap at all. And yeah, we saw that last time. It was a very, very close call. And yeah, not a good qualifying in terms of that for him.
Tom Roscoe, number 64. He's just joined the league recently. I think he joined back in the last couple races. Tom Ripley, number 64. How do you think he can compare against his teammate Matt Widdowson? He joined in Barcelona and immediately in his first race put it on the podium. He got P3 in his first ever race. Tom Roscoe invalidating his lap there. So he'll have to go around one more time. But do you think the pace is matched between them two?
You know,
okay, I think either mine or Sam's internet has died, but as I said there, Tom Ripley...
Matt has that experience, though. He has been in the league for much, much longer than Tom Roscoe, but... And yeah, I think he's maybe just trying to get that confidence with the handling of his car. You know, it's quite a unique... but yeah, at least he has a teammate that's been through it as well.
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties here. Sam, you came through, well, marginally broken up there. So we heard a little bit more. We heard something to do with him getting his grips on the car, and obviously his teammate being in the sport for longer than him. But it's interesting because rumour has it that Tom Ripley may want to try and start his own league. Don't know if that is in the grapevines or whatever plans he has, but good luck to him if he does do that. And well, if any of you are interested and don't have a spot in Kenco 1, go hit him up. We're just going to try and get in contact once again with Sam. I'm not too sure what's happened, whether it's a technical issue on his end, my end, or whatever. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. I think that may just be because of cars that are slowing down, so no need to lift for them. Max Chapman is currently on provisional pole. Provisional pole, if you want to put it that way, in qualifying lap. 114.08. Torben Schutt now with his first representative lap time goes into P2, 4/10 of the current lap time of the leader. Archie Middlefeld, who is on a flyer, is in sector 2 right now, but he's decided to back off 0.6 seconds behind. And then it's Dylan. Both of the Renault drivers there, possibly giving a tow there from Archie Middlefeld. I'm going to try and get in contact with Sam once again. Sam, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes, I'm back.
Yeah, so if you want to just, once again, sorry, you've already said it once, but why is there a difference in pace between Roscoe and Wilson?
Well, I mean, what I was saying is they're obviously in similar positions. Matt came into the league, as you said, in Barcelona, obviously later than quite a few of these drivers on the grid. Tom, in a similar situation, obviously joined much, much later. I mean, the handling of this game is quite unique. I think he's still getting used to that. His teammate, obviously, Matt's had a lot more experience in this game and in the league environment as well. You know, it's a competitive environment. That pressure as well that comes along with it. Some people perform better than others, but I think, you know, that's not the issue. I think he's just getting used to it all, and I think with time we'll see it come into fruition for him.
Well, just as you said that, someone who could have a possibility of winning this race or definitely coming close. Torben Schutt spinning it in the final sector. He was 3/10 up on his time, and he spun it. We'll go to the replay there, and we'll see what actually happened there. So we were on board with Torben Schutt. He goes through sector 2. He looks pretty quick. green first sector. Second sector is about 56 seconds or so for these drivers. Now into the final sector, around the stadium section. We'll see what happens now. A little bit of a tank slapper there, out of 13, and through 14 he drops the throttle. That's not something you want to be doing, especially in qualifying 1, because that could be the end of his qualifying session.
Yeah, definitely, and luckily in that stadium section the walls are quite far away from the track itself. That obviously played into his hands completely there, but it's all about confidence in these qualifying sessions. You're pushing the cars to the limit, and that's not what Charlie would have wanted, but he's obviously gone back into the garage now, gonna reconsider that, and I'm sure he'll come out once again in Q2.
Speaking of confidence, the man who has had nothing but so in qualifying recently, number 32, Ben Mitchell, enjoy the onboard lap. There you have it, a 1:14.8 there for Ben Mitchell, or 1:14.9. Apologies there. He had a personal best 1 and 3, but second sector just let him down. I think there was a little bit of a tank slapper there through turn number 7. Just the rear stepped out from a little bit. Regardless, there is no necessary reason for him to push in qualifying 1, but regardless, it was a pretty decent lap from the man in P7. I think he feels like he probably could do better though.
Yeah, obviously no real improvements on that lap from Ben, but again, building up that confidence in Q1, using this session very wisely, I think, just getting a few laps in. I mean, P7 is not too shabby at all, and only 8 tenths down at the moment. I think the only issue these drivers have is comparing themselves to Max Chapman. You know, in Q3, he just seems to be able to pull out some incredible laps. So, I mean, a 1:14 flat is pretty decent for him, but I think we can expect in Q3 just another one of those stellar lap times.
At the moment, does it seem like Archie Middlefell is the best of the rest? I mean, you've got Max Chapman, who is incredible, and Torben Schutt, who is also on par with him, but 4 tenths behind is still pretty ridiculous of a lap time. But there you see 6 tenths for Archie Middlefell, beating out everybody else by at least a tenth or so, but a tenth is very marginal, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. I think between P4 P6, there's a difference of about 5 100ths, but Archie is still ahead by about a tenth of all those guys. So yeah, arguably in Q1 he is best of the rest. So a good confidence booster for him, no doubt.
The only man who is out on a outlap, or should I say the only 2 men on an outlap, are the people in P14, P15, just getting the extra bit more practice there. He's got 20 seconds to get to the line, rear weapons. I don't know if he'll do it here in the final sector. He will be pushing as hard as he can through stadium, getting those tyres nice and warm. But I don't know if that's the right decision. You could use these tyres for maybe a sighter lap or something like that in the preceding qualifying sessions, and he has decided to come in. No effort from him. Rothgall also not going to be able to make the line. So both of those drivers will come in. Josh Amara and Mitchell on their in-laps. Andre Muster, I think maybe on a hot lap, just made it to the line there. If you want to go ahead and commentate us through that, if you're able, Stan.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be able to. Yeah, as you said, he just made the line coming out of turn. Where is he? He's coming out of turn 6 there towards the straight. He's obviously in P6, you know, he's safe into Q2 with only 15 people. He's still gone out again. Maybe just wanting to get that confidence once again coming through the triangular section there. It's an interesting set of corners, turn 4, 5 and 6 as we approach turn 7, 8 and 9. Arguably the most exciting set of corners. You can carry quite a lot of speed through there. It's quite thrilling. And turn 10 as well, you have to brake downshift slightly and towards the stadium section now as well for him. Nice entry into that. Lots of speed carried through turn 12, so that's a really good job there from the Red Bull driver. Turn 13, obviously we saw the incident there for Torben Schutt, but nothing of that sort for him. Turn 16, the penultimate corner, and turn 17 towards the start-finish line. He stays P6, no improvement on his lap time, but that was a pretty solid lap nonetheless.
Well, I mean, there for Nados and for Muster, I mean, P6 for Red Bull, there's nothing more you could probably ask for them, is there?
No, certainly. P5 and 6, very consistent are the two drivers at the moment. So yeah, a good first session.
We'll see you in qualifying too. Well, qualifying to the first of the, well, deciding qualifying sessions. I'm not too sure how to put it. All of the drivers, well, most of the drivers coming out there, a bit of an unsafe release there from the Haas team in front of their Ben Mitchell. Nados there, who finished in P6, just exiting the pit lane. We'll stay in the pit lane camera for a bit more. Both the Renaults coming out in synchronization, maybe a 1-2 pole for them. I don't know what's going to go on in qualifying session. We mentioned earlier, because of the equal performance, there would be no variation in engine or aero or anything, but historically, Mexico, because of the altitude, does sort of tend to lend a hand to the more aero-based teams. The engines aren't so powerful because the mixtures and all of the, how do I put it, the workings of the engine, because of obviously the altitude and the amount of the richness of the oxygen and all of that, it doesn't really benefit so much. So you tend to see the likes of Red Bull and the more aero-focused teams come out on top here. But just like you said today, equal performance, so none of that today for us, guys.
Yeah, you're right. In real life, that's what you do expect. It's not really about engine performance, as you said. It's all about sorry, excuse me, the workings of the aerodynamics on the car.
Okay, I think Sam's having some more technical issues, so I am going to have to go and
for
take
less
over.
downforce, you're obviously going to get a lovely straight line speed on the start-finish straight, but you're not going to get that, as always, in Formula 1, but you're completely correct in saying that engine performance is not so important.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of lends a hand to what we're saying about the equal car performance. Well, I mean, Max Chapman, who's in the Alfa Romeo, a car that you wouldn't expect to see more than, well, once or twice a year in the points. Obviously winning most of the races here, so it just proves that anything can happen there. Dylan Hartley's helmet, you can see, been through the wars there, a little bit of paint chippings and all of that as he comes into the final sector. There are yellow flags for him, but alas, the track will become clean and green, and he will start his first qualifying lap of the qualifying 2 session. Kevin O'Mara is on an out lap. His teammate has decided to stay in the pits. Josh O'Mara is in P2 currently. No time for him. No time for anyone except for Falpio, who's got a 1:14.9. That's 9/10 slower than Max Chapman's time from last session. Tom Roskill and Josh O'Mara both going cycle laps and going a little bit slower. Ben Mitchell with a 1:14.7. and I'm very much so with a 1:14.6. These drivers starting to get their move on in this session. Archie Middlefeld puts it in P4. Dylan Hartley, who we are now on board, is coming through into Sector 2. He's approaching number 7 and number 8 and number 9. A little bit of a corner inside there to give you the best line through 8 and 9. Now into the most difficult corner on the track, number 10. You've got a lift or maybe not lift for Dylan there. Flat out round there. His aero package making the most of that. You see the green light shifting up. All of the lights coming on now as he shifts down. He is 300s faster than anybody else on track currently, so Dylan Hartley, as it stands, will put it on provisional pole.
Yeah, not too bad for Dylan. He's obviously gone straight into P1 on 1:14.5, 3 100ths faster than Nados in P2. That was a pretty solid lap, as you said, going through turn 10 once again. Some really good speed going through there. Yeah, so he's obviously got a very nice setup on that car this weekend.
I'll tell you what, Torben Schutt, who is in the first sector, being tailed closely and getting the toe of Kevin O'Mara, is on the medium tyres, which is the only person I've seen so far on them.
Yeah, I mean, Q2, our first representative qualifying session, is also about strategy. Obviously, Torben Schutt, we've seen in the past, gone for the alternate strategy. Obviously, a good effort for him to try and get the win off of Max. You know, Max has just got that incredible pace. But he's trying something different, gone onto the mediums, which is interesting. If everyone else goes onto the soft, though, it may be a challenge for him to get into Q3.
Yeah, I agree there. But it's not always about starting position here at Mexico. The strategy really does come into it. At 1:06 currently for him, he's got about 10 seconds left in the lap. Will Torben Schutt make it to the line before or after Dylan's 1:14.5? Definitely slower. 1 second slower, in fact. 11 for Torben Schutt. That would be not even out of the elimination zone so far. Will he reconsider perhaps going on to some softer tyres? Or, well, he's still flat out, so perhaps going for a second.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, that was not the lap I was expecting from him, to be honest. Maybe the medium tyre is just not really working around Mexico at the moment. It's a bit overcast at the moment, track temperature of 31 degrees. So yeah, maybe tyre warm-ups being a bit of an issue for him. And we're seeing that with a lock-up, in fact.
Oh, and a little bit of a slide from his rear there through the, well, people like to call it the double apex hairpin. The turn 5-6 complex going up towards turn 7. Now for him, Ben Mitchell, the fastest man on track. 1:14.5 for him, but 400 quicker than Dylan Hartley. Ben Mitchell with some incredible pace today.
Yeah, once again, Ben towards the front end of the timing, so that's really good news for him. Max obviously still yet to set a lap time. He's on a flying lap now, in fact. Obviously, we'll see what that does for him. He's on those soft tyres. Everyone on soft tyres, as he said, except from Torben Schutt at the moment.
That's the strategy then. Stop to medium or stop to hard or perhaps even a 2-stop.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know. People starting on the soft tyre, obviously not too worried about tyre wear, so maybe it will be a soft to medium. Or maybe we'll see something different, maybe a 2-stop. I could expect something a bit different from someone like Charlie, you know, maybe a 2-stopper in order to get the jump on Chapman.
Well, Max has got the fastest sector too, but arguably that's because how much he's pushing these track limits. I mean, obviously, because it's regular, whatever regular allows them, that's what we keep. But, well, obviously that is unless stated otherwise. But Max Chapman purple in the middle sector because of how desperate he was pushing those track limits.
Wow.
6/10.
Yep. Once again, significant margin up out in front into the 113s as well for Max Chapman, obviously on those soft tyres. He's only used 50% ERS on that lap, so maybe still holding a little bit back as well. So yeah, nice job.
I'm speechless. There's nothing to say other than this man should not be in this league. He should be, I don't know, he should be racing with Johanna Watmere and people like that. He's ridiculous. Josh O'Mara in P10. Oh, actually, no, he's been promoted to P9. So, Josh O'Mara, 1.4 seconds off the pace, or should we just say 1 second off the pace, going incredibly wide there through turn number 10. So I'm not sure what's gone on there. He's used the proper run-off procedure, so well done to him. He's sporting a Lando Norris-like helmet. Now with the quadrant F1 team colours there, 150 metres, 100 metres, 50 metres into that braking board. Yeah, I think he may come in this.
Yeah, that was quite wide there through turn 10. Those rear tyres are going to be feeding that as well. So yeah, I imagine he'll be coming into the pits now. But yeah, P9, 1.4 seconds down. Not too shabby. He's safe at the moment, but I think Torben Schutt will be going much faster.
Well, we're going to go ahead and once again listen to the beautiful sound of the W Killer. Well, I tell you what, if Torben Schutt's time's anything to go by, 4 tenths off is not very bad at all. Max Chapman just showing his absolute raw pace round here. W11 there of Ian Hanmore, currently in P9. He decided to come into the pits at the end of that hot lap just because of the lack of pace. Unfortunately for him, he could not get that, but no worries for him. He's in P9. He'll probably go out and do one more lap towards the end of the session. Just a quick note there. Peak G-force there, peak lateral G-force of 4.8 Gs, almost 5 times the force of gravity exerted on those Formula 1 drivers' heads. Obviously in the game, that does mean nothing to us. Torben Schutt going fastest in the middle, sector 10, a tenth quicker than Max Chapman. This could be the first and fastest time we've seen today by far if he just gets his final sector right. Sorry to interrupt myself there. Max Chapman getting the 113.9, currently in the 113s. That's a ridiculous time, and an even more ridiculous time, or 1/10 out. Max Chapman could be rival today.
Yeah, that's more like it there from Torben Schutt. Only a 10th down. Nice job. I can see, though, on his dashboard, he's used almost all of his ERS. 8% left versus Max Chapman. Around 44%, I believe it was. So, pretty convinced Max is still holding something back. But only 1/10 down is very much better news there for Torben Schutt.
Yeah, everybody's starting to go out for their final laps there. Max Chapman, who is currently in provisional pole, well, if you can call it that in qualifying too, is being tailgated by his teammate Kevin O'Mara, who has not set a time in qualifying too yet. So that's interesting there from Kevin, pushing it really late.
Yeah, maybe trying to conserve a few tyre sets for the race. He's obviously getting that toe off his teammate at the moment as well. So maybe they're going for a team strategy here. You know, that toe going down the start-finish straight is going to be incredibly valuable for Kevin O'Mara. So, yeah, this is interesting, playing the team game.
I think Alex Rins also has the same idea. He's gone wide in the final corner, perhaps to get a toe from him, but round the final corner it is Max Chapman and his teammate Kevin O'Mara, it says playing, obviously, because he's changed his number. But we'll go on board with Kevin, just see how valuable this toe is.
I think they might have been a bit too close. By the end of the straight, Kevin's almost going to be overtaking Max. Is Max going to abort that lap? Yeah, it looks like he does. He has sacrificed that run for Kevin O'Mara. So yeah, that That was very well handled by the two Alfa Romeo boys.
Well, I think the Haas boys in front are trying the exact same thing. They've just gone into turn there. Kevin O'Mara with the fastest first sector. Ridiculous there from him. He's never been into qualifying 3 before. This could be the day. Kevin O'Mara, fastest in the first sector.
Yeah, certainly. He's gone a bit wide though, going through turn 6. Bit late on the brakes. Turn 7, 8, and 9 now using all the track limits available for him today as we approach turn 10. Pretty confident through there, not too bad at all. He's still holding on to that fastest first sector. That toe obviously proving very, very valuable, as well as fastest second sector, I believe, for him. So yeah, this has been a pretty good lap.
A 105, this is roughly where we saw Tom Chuck coming through this final sector. He drops it a little bit late on the power there for Kevin. This could sacrifice his lap. It looks like it's going to be a 114.6.
Wow.
114.4 in the end. Well done. Get those 2 tenths off in the end, but Kevin O'Mara looks like he will be through into qualifying 3, but there is a fastest lap to be had. Max Chapman comes into the pits. Lads, not for me.
Yeah, interestingly though, Josh O'Mara, Rafael, and Nados, P8, 9, and 10 respectively, are still in the pit. So they've decided not to come out for a final run. I mean, I can't really believe that. There's still some fierce drivers behind that could get into Q3.
Dylan Hartley's put himself in P3, and Matthew Widdowson's retired from the session, so no threat from him for Josh O'Mara. Roskell not out yet, so excuse me, he will not be able to set a lap. Ian Hamill is on track. So is Jay Robinson and Rio Evans. Rio Evans only joining us, but not setting any sort of precedent in the qualifying session, let's just say. He's had a pretty decent race pace, but nothing to write home about. Jay's gone incredibly wide there through the double apex hairpin of turn 5 and 6. This is his only chance to get out of the elimination zone. Rio Evans also retiring from the session, so unfortunate for him there. Maybe he just realised he was not quick enough.
Yeah, certainly. Tom Roskell as well has crossed the checkered flag, so he will not be able to set another lap time. The only people able to get into Q3 now are Ian and Jay in with the Mercedes and the AlphaTauri. Oh, Ian goes very wide going through turn A, and that is his qualifying over.
Well, I tell you what, you bad mouthing Josh O'Mara, Rafael and Andre for not coming out and and setting their lap, but Jay Robinson's coming to the pits. Ian Hamill will not set a quicker time. What has gone on? Why have they all aborted?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a bit of a lucky gamble from those guys, but yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, Ian obviously was pushing very, very hard, but just lost the rear end going through turn 8, so that's a real shame for him, but not too sure what's happened to Jay. He's come into the pits, though.
So Dylan Hartley, the only fan out on track to actually go across the line. Jay has retired from the session in the pits, and Ian Hamill will be coming into the pits momentarily. Jay in P14, Ian Hamill missing out by just 1/10 of a second. Josh O'Mara will be happy. His third ever qualifying 3 appearance.
Let it go on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back once again. The final time we will be qualifying here in the this afternoon, and in the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, or whatever the Mexican track's called. I don't know. I'm sorry if I just offended anyone by saying that. But it is qualifying 3 today. Some drivers, well, all drivers, out on a outlap, including the likes of Josh O'Mara, Kevin O'Mara, Rafal, Alex Brinson, Andre Mustard, Ben Mitchell, people that we don't often see here. Well, Ben Mitchell, not so much anymore, but people we don't often see in the qualifying 3 session.
Yeah, it's good to see Ben up in qualifying 3. It really is quite exciting seeing some new drivers. Obviously, Josh O'Mara, as you said, up into Q3 once again. Few appearances for him, but yeah, it's good to see him in Mexico. Obviously, been practicing quite a lot.
And to mention Kevin O'Mara and the selflessness of his teammate to let him have the toe and give up his own lap for that final lap glory. Well, the only lap glory of qualifying 2 for him. The only lap that ever mattered in that lap, or in that section, was the one that put him into P3.
Yeah, that was a stroke of genius there from the Alfa Romeo boys. Obviously, as you said, you know, timing it perfectly, going down the straight. By the end of the straight, Kevin was almost side by side at Max. So yeah, perfectly timed. I thought it was going to be a bit close, but didn't really realise that Max was happy to sacrifice his lap. But yeah, good job.
We're watching AlphaTauri, the charging bull, as we say, the only one in the qualifying 3 session. Dylan Hartley's on his first ever flying lap here in qualifying 3. He's set a personal best first sector, as of course he would, beating his qualifying 2 time. Ben Mitchell has set the only valid time so far, a 1:14.6. Dylan Hartley setting a 36-second first sector, 42 seconds now into his lap. He is going to be trying to rival that of Max Chapman, setting a 1:14.1. Torben Schutt going 7 thousandths quicker, but that is definitely not that's definitely not the most what either of them have. They could both, and they have proved it, get down into the 1:13s. They both proved it in the qualifying 2 sessions. So Dylan Hartley coming through the final sector looks like he may be able to put it in the top 4 if he is, if he's good round here in the final sector, getting a wide exit, coming through. He'll put himself into P4 just as I said.
Yeah, nicely done. As you said, Max, though, has got a bit more in his belt. We saw him going to the 113s in Q2, so we know he's got a little bit more for his final run in Q3, but Torben Schutt, nonetheless, in front of him, so that's really good news for him. Got fastest Sector 2 and Sector 3.
Here we see the raw pace of Kevin O'Mara. We didn't see that quite in Q2 because of the toe, but P7 nonetheless, 5/10 slower than his teammate. Is not bad considering he didn't have that huge toe that he did have in qualifying 2.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I don't think his teammate's going to be as selfless in Q3, considering it's also not currently in provisional pole position. But yeah, as you say, only 5/10 down without that toe is still pretty impressive in a Q3 session as well.
Someone who hasn't impressed right now is Andre Mustard's 1/10 off Torben Schutt and Max Chapman, despite his lackluster Q2 time. So could it be possibly Andre his second pole this year?
Potentially, I didn't even notice that, to be honest. But yeah, only 1/10 down on Torben Schutt, currently in provisional pole, of course. So yeah, that's a really good effort for his first run. That's going to fill him with confidence while sitting in the garage.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's sitting in the garage. That's quite a confident thing to do. Normally in Q3, you would want to go out and use all of your tyre sets available, as we have seen in the past. But Max Chapman is one and a real big stickler for, staying in the pits when maybe he shouldn't have.
Yeah, certainly. He's obviously on another flying lap at the moment, is Max Chapman. He's going pretty quickly as well, so I think he may stick this one out going through turn 10. Incredibly committed. I mean, that is just incredible stuff. But is it going to be enough? We will have to wait and see. No purple sector. In fact, that's completely incorrect. Fastest purple sector 2 for Max. So he's obviously going much faster on this lap, coming towards penultimate corner now. Is he going to do it? I think he probably will. He's going very, very quick out on track at the moment, and he goes P1 with a 1:13.2.
7, almost 8 tenths quicker. That's illegal. That is so fast. You should get a speeding ticket.
Yeah, he was going incredibly quickly on that lap. All 3 fastest sectors now for him, and yeah, 8 tenths in front.
Well, I tell you what, I was ridiculing him for staying in the pits, but I were him, I would be pretty confident that I could do it without. I don't know what's going on with the camera system here. Every time someone goes into the garage, it immediately cuts back to their team bringing them in. That's interesting, but Codemasters for you. We're currently on the T-pod of Rafal, who's just come into the pits, and you see there also not his teammate, Ben Mitchell, going out for his outlap. Max Chapman, 8/10 quicker. I think I'd be confident. I'd just stay in the pits.
Yeah, I mean, that was on 2 lap old tyres as well. He'd already done his first run on these soft tyres. So, yeah, that is incredible stuff. That's a tall order for Torben Schutt in P2. You know, he's an equally talented driver, but 7/10.
Well, I tell you what, Max Chapman, is there an election? Because he's certainly setting a precedent.
Yeah, that was a very nice one. Kind of very nicely done there. I think, yeah, Max has smashed that election. He's won it. He got a huge majority, and yeah, 7/10 in front already. 4 minutes left in the session.
Well, I tell you what, qualifying is very much first past the post here. Quite metaphorically and literally, in the fastest person past the finishing flag is the man who puts it in pole. Quite an unusual way to look at it, but it's very much like politics.
Yeah, you're too good at the politics puns, are you, Callum? Very, very impressive. Max actually staying out. He's not bothering to come in. He's not listening to you today, Callum. He's coming out on a third run on these soft tyres, and he's going to aim to go even faster. Oh, he's given his teammate a tow once again.
Yeah, that is the spirit of the, well, I say the spirit of the game. I don't know if that's, that's one everyone born past 2000 has just lost it. I'm sorry. I said the game, but nonetheless, the spirit of the sport, should I say, rather, there for the Alfa Romeo team. 5/10 still slower there for Kevin O'Mara. Almost a Titan there because he's changed his number to number 19. But yeah, Kevin O'Mara through the double apex airpin, 5/10 slower, but that's still put him in front of Tom Chuck.
Yeah, it will. I mean, that tow proving incredibly valuable. He's obviously got to keep it on the road for the rest of the lap, though. He's looking very good through turn 10. Nice little, only a tiny lift through there. Obviously got some good confidence. Got a few tips from his teammate, no doubt. But yeah, that tow. Oh no, he's
gone straight on. No, he's done a Lewis Hamilton. Someone pressed the brake magic button, didn't they?
Yeah, that's a real shame for Kevin. I mean, they have another opportunity. Max could just keep going round and keep giving him tows. He's obviously Kevin's going to obviously want to go round, recharge his battery, etc. But Max Chapman is into the pit, so no opportunity for another tow. But yeah, that was a shame. That was obviously going to be a good lap.
Well, it makes me question whether that Alfa Romeo has enough fuel to go around, because he's coming once, well, had obviously his out lap and then his hot lap, and still stuck with it. He didn't back out and go back into the pits. As Ben Mitchell puts it in P3, only 1/10 slower than than Torben Schutt. Now 8/10 slower than P1. You would say, yeah, that's horrible, bad time. But to be 1/10 slower than P2.
Yeah, not bad at all. Once again, another great lap time as Archie Middlefield goes into P4. Only 1/10 or so down on Torben Schutt. So yeah, P3 and P4 still impressing. But the gap between P1 and P2 is still there, and it's still a crazy amount.
Well, Dylan Hartley is currently looking for P2 position. He's 3.99 lower than Max Chap.
Yes, still possible at the moment then for him going through the turn 10 section. Wow, I didn't even hear a lift there. That's incredible. I haven't heard that before. No lift through turn 10. Obviously got quite a lot of downforce on that car this weekend.
Well, you know what the Spanish would say, or should I say the Mexicans that speak Spanish? He's got big cojones as he goes there through the final sector and comes through. He's speaking the language, quite literally, of the people in the stands. He's seeing what he's doing, what they want to see, but no improvement this time.
Yeah, still P6 for Dylan Hartley. Not too bad for him. As you said, you know, there's an incredible run to the first corner on the first lap. So many opportunities using that slipstream to get past drivers. I mean, pole position, obviously, you know, getting that is huge. But Max is not going to get any slipstream when he starts the race.
Tell me, what's happening with Dr. Amara? And only just now coming out for his outlap, whilst everybody else is, well, possibly pushing for their hot lap.
Yeah, he's his qualifying's over. He's not going to make it around in 40 seconds. But he's not got a teammate to give a tow. Yeah, I don't know what his strategy is at the, maybe another Saito lap for him.
Well, I'll tell you what, look at P1 and P9. Look what they're doing. Once again, Max Chapman, selflessness. But, I don't know. This is ridiculous that we saw in Q2. Excuse me for a second. We saw in Q2 that Kevin Amara had a purple first sector because of that tow. Max Chapman then, still 4 tenths quicker than even with a tow. How is he so quick in the first sector?
I honestly don't know. He's obviously, yeah, I really don't know. Most of the first sector is that straight. Yeah, Kevin O'Mara getting a huge bit of oversteer there on the straight. He's gone a bit deep once again. Oh no, into the. Oh wait, no.
I think
he was into the wall on my screen.
Yeah,
but,
same. I think he may be having the internet of his teammate right now.
Yeah, that's also been transferred on the straight. But Max Chapman.
Oh, what? Right, okay, I think something weird is going on with him, so I'm going to stop spectating him. Archie Middlefell, he's into P4. Max Chapman has not tried to improve his time. He will stay in P1 unless Torben Schutt, who is also in the pits, can dethrone him. Max Chapman looks like he's on provisional pole. Ben Mitchell, number 32, is the only man out on track other than Kevin O'Mara who can do it. He's coming through sector 2, and he's 3 seconds slower. He's backed out. Ben Mitchell on the second row for the one of the first times. Well, second or third time, should I say, for him. But Max Chapman on pole position. Torben Schutt on the front row with him. Wow. I think that may be strategical from Torben, getting the tow down to turn 1.
Yeah, I think you're correct. He didn't even bother for a second run. He may have been thinking just what I was thinking. You know, that slipstream going to turn 1 is going to be very, very valuable. Max is not going to have that. It's one of the longest runs, if not the longest, into turn 1 on the whole calendar. So, yeah, interesting.
Well, I tell you what, P4, Archie Middlefell, looks like he's in for it. He's got the tow of 3 cars in front of him to get him down to turn 1. And perhaps we could see some first lap overtakes. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us and watching through this qualifying. Obviously, you probably haven't seen us for a while. We'll go ahead and hand you off to someone, but I'd like to say a big thank you to Sam and to you all for staying.